Mad Napkins up! I'm excited. Oh boy, I'm in a good mood today. If you didn't see the news that was delivered to us about yesterday, when I recorded this, obviously. Oh, it's good times. Good times coming, I think. Speculation at this point, but we're talking about separate 10 and 25 man lockouts again. Give that a moment to set in. Now, you might be wondering, if you didn't play, I'm out here at ICC. I'm here for a reason. All right, getting back in the freaking spirit of things, getting ready for it. You know what I mean? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to do 10 and 25 man again. You know what I mean? Fuck yeah. And brilliance of it. So what they're going to do, it's being tested in China or Korea. So if you're watching this from China or Korea, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. But anyway, if you are, grats, you have something that I want. So I may take it by force. But you have now, coming in 5.1, 25 man and 10 man separate lockouts. How fucking great is that? Trust me, it's not great for everyone. So that's what we're going to talk about. Just have a quick chat. I want to try to spark a discussion. Try to approach it from both sides realistically, because that's important. So we'll go into a little background first. If you weren't aware, essentially what's happening is, if you haven't followed the story, a few months ago, Korea tested shorter raid lockouts for old content. Okay, I think this was back in Dragon Soul still. They gave Firelands and anything below it just like a 3-day cooldown instead, so you can do it twice a week. That was an interesting idea when it happened. I don't really know, what the plan is. They never said anything about that again, and if it's following that pattern, we'll likely never hear about this again coming to US or anything, but just the fact that it's happening somewhere is really good. What they're going to do, okay, it's just like ICC, literally the exact same thing, only a slight tweak to the gear. What's going to happen is 10 man is going to offer, what is it there? 10 man is going to offer 496 for Terrace of the Endless Spring. That's the best rate currently, 496. That's what it offers now, okay? 25 man offers 496 now, but in Korea, it's going to offer 504, so slightly better, but still worse than heroic 10 man. In fact, let's see. I can't remember. I think it's 509. Yep, 509. Yeah. So, that's the other stuff. 509. Okay, so it's 5 eye levels lower than heroic. And then I assume it's going to be 5 eye levels higher. I mean, it's getting complicated one way or the other, but plain and simple, what's going to happen is they're going to have a 10-man raid and a 25-man raid. Again, like I said, if you weren't around in ICC, the way it worked was, all through Wrath, essentially, was 10-mans were like, they were the lesser raid. Let's put it that way. They were the lesser raid. If you wanted the best gear, you had to do 25-mans. And guess what? I wanted that. That's the way it should be. Because I try to be, try to approach this from both sides. But in my opinion, 25-man, no matter what they try to do tuning-wise, it's just a harder difficulty because, not because of the raid, but because of how many individuals you have to manage. Managing 25 human beings is always going to be harder than managing 10 human beings. If it's not, then you need to find a better 10 people because, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not... 25 human beings that's like a whole classroom of people, you know what I mean? Anyway, so what we're looking at is 5.1 this happening. I guess they're testing it. Who knows if it's, once again, it could just go nowhere, but let's look at it from both sides. I want to have a bit of a discussion about this. Okay, so we'll approach it from the 10-man perspective first, and then I'll give my completely unbiased opinions about the 25-man perspective. The reason it was changed, okay, this is why. Because, 2 reasons. One person, who couldn't raid a lot, they had to raid 10-man, right? They had to pick the smaller raid because that's all they had time for. They didn't have time to dedicate to a big guild. So they had to do 10-man. 10-man gave less loot. Blizzard wants everybody to be able to have a shot at stuff. Now, this was before looking for raid, don't forget. So they said, well, how are we gonna get more people to raid? Got to make a 10 and a 25 man. They did this in the beginning of Wrath. After BC was over, they gave 2 options, if you weren't aware. 10 and 25 for each raid. 25 was better. They did that, like I said, to bridge the gap between casuals and like, you know, hardcore raiders. Well, now looking for raids out. So you don't need that gap. There doesn't need to be a gap anymore. There is no more gap. If casuals want to raid, they can go derp around and looking for raid, and everybody else can raid serious. Okay, that's one reason. The other reason they changed it was because 10-man heroic ICC dropped the same gear as 25-man normal. And 10-man heroic was easy. 10-man normal was a joke. It was completely easy if you had gear from 25-man normal. It was, you know what I mean? You outgeared it. So what hardcore raids forced everyone to do was raid both. So they doubled their raid, you know what I mean? And people had to raid ICC like 40 hours a week in 2 different difficulties just to get the gear to kill the bosses that need to be killed. And they don't like that. They like people doing the raids. They like people doing dailies. They like people doing stuff, but not because they have to. And that's why they changed the way dailies worked as well with the helm enchant and the shoulder enchant. And that's why they changed the raid. So, entering into Kata, we had 2 options. You had a 10-man raid and a 25-man raid. They hoped most guilds would do 25-man stuff. Didn't work out that way. Every guild on my server went to 10-man. Me and one of the better guilds in the world are the only 2 guilds on this server that still do 25-man horde side. It was like 8 or 9 in ICC. That kind of hurts the community, in my opinion. Okay, but one way or the other, pro 10-man argument would be if you change it back, all those guilds that changed are now fucked. That's it for those guilds. They cannot find... There's no way they're going to be able to recruit, you know, 20 more people to be able to do a 25-man raid every week. They're going to have to either merge, split, just disband in general. Could be a bad thing, you know what I mean? But the way I look at it is, you should want to raid 25-man. Like, why? It's a fucking MMORPG. Why would you play this game if you don't want to raid, if you don't want to do... You know what I mean? That's like only ever queuing for the 10-man battleground. There's a 40-man battleground. You know, go do it. It's a lot of fun with more people. The more people, the more fun, in my opinion. So, doing that is obviously going to hurt 10-man raiders, but stand up tall, you know what I mean? If you're a 10-man raider, tell me off. Tell me, get fucked. 10-man raiding is definitely worth, you know, definitely worth looking at. You're a fucking idiot. Tell me that, because I don't believe it. I really don't. I don't believe it, and all the 10-man fucking idiots on our server, they all comment. They're like, oh, lol, where we've killed this, that, you haven't yet. Well, the way I look at it is, it's just, I mean, they shouldn't be the same raid one way or the other. Whether or not they're the same difficulty, whether or not 10 or 25 men is harder, is irrelevant. They are not the same raid, and they should not share an achievement. Let's put it that way. Now, let's look at it from the 25-man perspective. So, in ICC, you know what I mean? 25-man guilds were top fucking shit. People paid us. People paid Diox to run around butt-ass naked. Right? No, they paid us. We would sell fucking normal 25-man Lich King kills because it was better. And there was, you know, guilds who couldn't do it on 25-man, so they had to come, they had to give money. And in general, like, you were, you know, when you go to recruit, you see you want to find a guild, you don't want to go to a 10-man group, right? I don't know many people. I don't know why you would want to raid a 10-man. I really don't. I understand if you have a group of friends and stuff, but what? If you're looking for a guild, hopefully you're looking for a 25-man guild, because you have a shot of getting in. But... Oh, sitting down now. But the 25-man argument I have is just that, you know, it was changed because people didn't want to have to do both, and I can dig that. But at the same time, I'm not going to do both. Like, I'm not going to force my raiders to do both. It would be a great option if people want to, they can, but just the fact of the matter is 25-man being the more prestigious. The game has always, look at, like, go back to 40-mans. You know what I mean? If you think 10-man raiding content is the way the game's supposed to be done, it's just not. It never was. They don't scale properly. They build it on 25-man and then scale it down to 10-man. That's how they test it. So if you're supposed to use, you know, if you can get away with 6 healers in 25-man, that means that's supposed to be, you know, like 2.5 healers in 20. And it doesn't work that way. The numbers don't add up. They don't make sense. So 1 is always a little bit easier, whether it's 10 or 25-man. And besides that, when you have 25 human beings in a raid and you're trying to get them, you're trying to keep them motivated for multiple hours, it's not easy. It really isn't. And that's what I love about this game. That's why I play this game. That's why I love playing, raiding, all this. And I would like some respect. I really would, because we as 25-man raiders just don't seem to get it right now. So this will probably never happen. This is probably a waste. You've probably wasted however long this video is, you know. But if it does happen, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be my favorite change ever probably in the game, back to this. So if you have... Oh, one other thing I wanted to discuss. Why this is happening. Okay? Why this may be happening. Somebody brought this up to me and I think it's brilliant. What do you guys think about this? They did this originally because, like I said, they wanted, you know, some more casual approach. They wanted people raiding as much as they can and which difficulty they preferred. But they wanted the top guilds in the world to be doing 25-man. I don't think there's any doubt of that. And this past here, like a few months ago, Paragon, commonly considered one of the better guilds, one of the best guilds in the world, switched to 10-man. And their reason was kind of conspicuous. They said, well, we can't find people. They're the best, one of the best guilds in the world. They can find people. If I can get 40 raiders to show up every week, then they can find people. You know what I mean? That's bullshit. So they followed up saying, oh, well, we only raid in Finnish, which is a language, if you didn't know. And a lot of individuals don't speak that language. That's what they said. So, and then in reply to that, about 14, 15 people are like, I will learn Finnish. I will learn how to speak enough Finnish to raid with you guys if you accept me. And there was no more comments after that. You know what I mean? So they did it. It's pretty obvious that they did it to try to get Wolf, to guarantee them a better shot at Wolf first, because they probably were having a few holes in 25-man. And Blizzard, that's not a go. You know what I mean? They don't want... Because think about that. If there's major money to be made from guilds like that. Like they bring in sponsorships. They bring in attention for Blizzard. They bring in, you know, big press at BlizzCon. All that stuff. That's big deal. That's big money for them. And if everybody's going to be like, oh, well, maybe we will go 10-man, going to be some repercussions. You know, Blizzard can't, they got to react to that. So what do you think? Probably sounded like an idiot here. If you know, have opinions, please, I'm begging you to fucking leave them. This is what this is. Okay. Otherwise, I'm pumped. Fuck yeah, I'm ready for it. Just, you know, let's go. If this comes to US, man, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to love it.